To lend anything that I know that will aid the ICI in their investigation. As I said, wala po akong tinatago, so I am happy to assist them in any way, shape, or form.
He was surprised about some of our questions. There are many projects in this district, but not in the scale of the insertions that were asserted to by Saldico.
Presidential son and Majority Leader Sandro Marcos's much-awaited testimony before the Independent Commission for Infrastructure happened today. The catch, we don't get to hear about it because it was made in another executive session. Marcos presented himself before the ICI following allegations by resigned Ako Bicol Congressman Zaldico of budget insertions. Co claims that the younger Marcos got at least 50 billion pesos worth of public works projects in the 2023, 2024, and 2025 national budgets. Sandro wanted a closed-door session with the ICI, which the Commission allowed.
Andito ako to lend anything that I know that will aid the ICI in their investigation. As I said, wala po akong tinatago, so I am happy to assist them in any way.
But Marcos did allow the ICI to release a recording of his testimony if this will not affect the ongoing investigation. Speaking to reporters after the hearing, Congressman Marcos says the Commission asked his side about the allegations made by Zaldico.
Well, again, I will just repeat my statement that it's pure fabrication and pure lies. It's one that it's a move that reeks of desperation. It's a political ploy. And I've already attributed it to attempts at destabilization of the government. Kung nakikita niyo po yung listahan, may mga project dyan sa Davao City nakalagay, nakalista sa Davao City. Alam naman natin sino nakatira doon, ba't pa ako maglalagay ng projects doon? Sana naman pag-aralan nila ng mabuti.
Congressman Marcos also claimed that the Commission asked him if they should invite his father, President Bongbong Marcos. The younger Marcos left his decision to the Fact-Finding Commission.
In an interview with our sister program Storycon, outgoing Commissioner Rogelio Babe Singson defended the ICI from criticism about its lack of transparency for allowing executive sessions. Singson said the Commission evaluates every request for closed-door hearings and only allows such when justified. The outgoing ICI Commissioner also gave a preview of Sandro's testimony.
He was surprised about some of our questions kasi marami kaming detalyang tinanong. There are many projects in this district, but not in the scale of the insertions that were asserted to by Saldico.
Meanwhile, Davao City Congressman Paulo Duterte, who was also invited by the ICI, has declined to appear before the commission. Duterte questioned the ICI's jurisdiction over him, which he said is just a tool for the administration's, quote, pure political propaganda. In his letter addressed to ICI Chair Andres Reyes, Duterte said the ICI appears without power nor jurisdiction over him, noting that it only covers those in the executive branch.
My letter was sent few weeks ago, and it's an irrevocable that complied with the 30-day notice. May mga nagsasabi na kung pwede daw extend. Sabi ko, why not? Kung mga 15 days lang, wala namang problema. But otherwise, it stays on December 15.
On our sister program Historicon, ICI Commissioner Rogelio Babe Singson said officials knew about his resignation way before it was announced Wednesday, December 3rd. On Thursday morning, he also spoke at length to media on why he quit. He clarified that his reasons were personal and had nothing to do with politics or external pressures.
My 77-year-old body cannot take it anymore. I've been in and out of the hospital. This is the first time in my life that I've been asked to take maintenance medication for heart, high BP, high cholesterol, high creatinine, name it, everything is red flag in my body.
Singson likewise revealed that he had actually planned to stay with the ICI for only 3 months. On such short stint, the former public works chief believes he delivered his commitment to provide technical expertise in the government infrastructure projects.
I feel that I've done what I have to do for ICI, but I have to also answer to the needs of my family, family concerns, and my own personal life. I want to get back my privacy.
Nevertheless, Singson says the ICI is not equipped, from powers to manpower, to handle its Herculean task of cracking down on corruption. Their printers are borrowed. They have to bring their own laptops, and their staff, all volunteers.
Up to now, yung budget na sinasabi nila, nasa dyaryo lang, wala pa sa amin. Nasa dyaryo nga, wala sa amin.
And while making do with very limited resources, the expectations of ICI are unlimited, which is to catch all the big fish in the flood control mess. That is why he's calling for Congress to expedite the body's legalization so that they will have more teeth and broader powers to probe anomalies. Singson says they need help, and immediately.
I am appealing to members of Congress, both the House and the Senate, ipasa nyo na yung IPC, or Independent People's Commission at the Senate level, and the ICAIC, which is at the lower house version. They committed that they will pass it before the end of the year, so hopefully by the end of the year, you will now have a much stronger independent commission with proper powers and authorities that ICI does not have.
Amid the challenges, Babe Singson believes the ICI is not dead yet, as what his friend, Caloocan Congressman Egay Erice told One News Historicon on December 3.
I don't think that's a fair statement. No? It's a commission work. No? I'm just one of 3 members. We were absorbing a lot of the flack for something that we have no power to do. Pakulong nyo yan, yung kurakot. Wala naman kaming power na magpakulong. O di, sino sinisi? ICI. Ang bagal nyo. You must be protecting the big fish.
For Navotas Congressman Toby Tiangco, Singson's resignation signals the urgent need to pass the proposed Independent Commission Against Infrastructure Corruption or ICAIC bill. Tiangco authored the bill together with ML Party List Representative Leila De Lima and Erice.
Kumakalampag na po kami, both sa House leadership and also kay Pangulo. Nasaan na po? Bakit po hindi pa ini-schedule for plenary? We have barely 5 session days remaining. May sapat pa bang panahon?
So inaasahan namin na gagalaw ito dahil pinangako naman ni Speaker Boji na we will finish the ICAIC bill before the Christmas break. So ang problema na-stall. Hindi namin alam kung bakit.
Deputy Speaker Raymond Democrito Mendoza and Infrastructure Committee Chair Terry Redon expect the plenary to take the ICI Empowerment Bill up before the House goes on session break on December 18. On the part of the Senate, Justice Committee Chair Kiko Pangilinan, co-author of the establishment of the Independent People's Commission, said there's already a committee report ready for plenary deliberation.
Yung pag-resign ni Sec Babes is, I think, all the more dapat talagang isulong itong IPC kasi nga siya mismo nga nagsasabi na kulang, no? Ang kapangyarihan, ang resources, ang pondo ng ICI para magampanan yung hinihingi sa kanyang trabaho.
Despite his resignation from the ICI, Singson said he's still willing to help the government. To Public Works Secretary Vince Dizon, Singson had the instructions to set into motion an already existing flood control master plan. Dizon said Singson is willing to also lend a hand in a pet project of the Marcos administration.
Sabi niya sa akin, gusto niya niyang tulungan si Presidente sa pag-implement nung 18 major river system master plan, no, for flood mitigation na sinimulan niya nung siya ay DPWH Secretary na unfortunately hindi na implement. No, so specifically sinabi niya sa akin, sinabi din niya alam ko sa ating Pangulo.
Kapatid Arles de los Santos, we are One News.
How soon will the ICI get its much-needed resources and powers to hold those accountable in the flood control scandal? And joining us in the program tonight, Akban Party List Congressman Chel Diokno. Attorney Chel, magandang hapon po. Magandang gabi po. And thank you for joining us.
Magandang gabi, Ed, at lahat ng nanonood at nakikinig.
Well, sir, ang sabi po kasi ni Congressman Elises, stalled daw yung ICAC bill. Is that true? And what are we looking at? I understand you're going on recess by December 18.
Yes, dapat by now, nasa plenary na itong ICAC bill na pinaghirapan po natin yan. Actually, natapos na yan sa PWG at committee level about 10 days ago. And we were expecting that will go through the plenary already. I really have no idea why up to now hindi pa rin gumagalaw.
Is that a scheduling issue, sir, or is that a political issue?
Maganda itanong natin yan sa House leadership dahil kami nasa minorya pero matagal na namin pinupush ito. At sa tingin namin, lalong-lalo na sa pagka-resign ni Secretary Dave Singson ay kailangan natin sa batas na itong Independent Commission Law.
Congressman Chel, kagabi nga kausap namin si Kong Laila de Lima and she was very upset. Binilang niya yung session days. As of yesterday, 6 left. I guess today, 5 left. If the President does not certify this bill as urgent, may magagawa ba ang both houses of Congress to expedite this without the stamp of approval coming from the executive?
Well, actually, kung talagang gugustuhin nila, kaya. In fact, that raises a big question. Kung talagang seryoso ba ang administrasyon dito sa batas ng isang independent commission na may sapat na ngipin, na mayroong power of contempt, na mayroong power of subpoena, at mayroong isa sa publiko ang mga hearings. Yun ang isang naging problema kasi ng ICI. In fact, ang laki ng nawala sa ICI dahil sa pagkawala ni Secretary Singson, it lost so much credibility. Plus the fact that hindi naman na-live ang mga hearings nila, except for just the other day, we're all left in the dark. Hindi natin alam kung ano bang hinarap ng mga testimonya at ebidensya sa kanila. Kaya dapat talaga ang panawagan natin, talagang kailangan natin isabatas na itong House Bill 4453 o yung consolidated bill ng lahat na nag-file ng ganitong klaseng panukalang batas.
Yeah, but now that we're kind of at a stalemate when it comes to the ICAIC and the certification as urgent, is there any way for the legislative, kasi may checks and balances naman po tayo, is there another way po na pwede niya, like kumbaga take the matter into your own hands? Can the leadership of the Senate and the lower house do something minus na the President certification?
Definitely, the leadership of the House and the Senate can do a lot to pass this bill immediately. And that is our call.
we've done our job. We've filed the bills. We've participated in the technical working group and in the committee deliberation. I think it's now incumbent on the leadership to do its part and get this bill passed into a law.
Can you elaborate on how this would look like? Paano po? Ano po yung pwedeng magyari? Kasi as it stands, no, according to Congresswoman Laila, sa Senate medyo mas naka-advance na sila and mas delayed kayo sa House. So how can we make it happen?
We keep on pushing. We thank you for giving us the opportunity to have this platform because we really need this law. Kung talagang seryoso ang administration na to get to the bottom of this, malaman yung buong katotohanan tungkol sa mga infra projects, mga flood control projects, at mapanagot ang nasa likod nito, kailangan natin itong batas nito.
Well, sir, I suppose the House leadership is waiting for a signal from Malacanang on whether or not it is really interested in giving more powers to the ICI. But let me also refer you to an interview we had with Claire Castro nung linggo lamang, nung November 30 rallies. We had Claire Castro here in the studio and we asked her that Sabi namin kay Yuse Claire, are you planning to certify, is Malacanang planning to certify as urgent all those measures that would give additional powers to the ICI, including the power to subpoena, the power to hold in contempt, and as well the immunity guarantees? Ang sagot po niya well, the NBI and the PNP conduct their investigations without these powers, so that wouldn't stop fact-finding body like the ICI, and that they have to study para whether or not there will be any overlap or any conflicts with existing bodies before they can act on that. So medyo po, I don't know if lukewarm is the right word for it. Medyo malamig actually yung tubig pagdating sa Malacanang. Is that also what you're seeing, at least from the minority point of view? Is that what you're seeing in Congress too?
Well, sinabi mismo ni Secretary Singson na kulang sa ngipin ang ICI. And sana wake-up call ito sa Malacanang na makita nila yung pangangailangan natin na maisabatas na ito. This is something that they have to hear the cry of our people. Matagal nang panawagan ng sambayan ng Pilipino yan na magkaroon ng pananagutan. Kung talagang seryoso sila dyan, they must work on this and make sure that this gets passed into a law as soon as possible.
And so a same question I asked Congresswoman De Lima last night, I'm asking you now, Congressman Jokno, do you feel that there is some force, kumbaga, holding it back? Is there some sort of, kumbaga, from interested, naging disinterested na yung executive to push for this to happen? Do you get that sense?
Well, what I can say is that this could have been passed already. This could have been brought to the floor in the last few days, and we're really at a loss why it hasn't happened. Kaya kami, tuloy-tuloy ang aming panawagan sa ating House leadership at Malacanang na isabatas na natin ito, kailangan natin ito.
What about within the House? You know, there was a committee headed by Representative Ridon, siya yung nag-iimbestiga, and then pinaubaya na niya kasi nagkaroon na ng ICI. What about that avenue of restarting those investigations, similar to the Senate Blue Ribbon hearings? Are you interested in pursuing that path?
I would be very willing to participate in that given the recent situation na nawala na nga si Secretary Singson at hindi gumagalaw yung ating ICAIC.
Sir, let me ask you naman, well, knowing that you have a lot of experience in trial litigation, tama ba yung sinabi ni Yusek Castro na yung NBI at PNP nga hindi naman kailangan ng ganyang powers at nagagawa nila yung kanilang trabaho? Would it help or not help to give the ICI these kinds of powers?
It would definitely help the independent commission, lalong-lalo na yung subpoena power. Dahil sa ngayon, ang nangyayari ay pwedeng tumanggi yung mga ini-invite nila. Pagka nasubpoena nila yon at nabigyan natin ng kapangyarihan mag-subpoena, ay compelled sila na humarap. At kaya yung mga nangyari recently na mayroong ilang mambabatas na nag-decline o kaya humingi ng executive session, ay hindi mangyayari yun kung may sa batas natin itong House Bill 4453. Sa amin, sa panukalang batas namin, ang executive session ay pwede lamang sa tatlong sitwasyon. Unang-una, pagka klarong may national security information na idadivulge. Pangalawa, kung lalabag sa data privacy law yung sasabihin ng testigo. Pero yun lamang portion na yun ang pwedeng executive session. At pangatlo, kung boboto ang majority ng members ng commission, ayon dun sa unang dalawang exception, na talagang kailangan magkaroon ng executive session. Ang nangyayari kasi ngayon, pag hiningi ng isang witness o kaya mambabatas na mag-executive session, sinasang-ayunan agad. And yet, that should not be the case. The general rule should always be the public has the right to know. Dapat alam natin lahat yung sinasabi ng mga testigo.
Parang nagiging default na lang na pag hiningi ang executive session, malamang sa hindi igagrant.
Yun na nga, pinabibigyan palagi. Dapat hindi ganon.
Okay. This is very much related. I saw your tweet, Congressman Diokno, about HB 5905, anti-political dynasty law. Might be different from the surface, but it's actually very much related, according to you, kasi dito talagang nakikita na gaano siya ka-cultural and systemic already. Is that even more, quote-unquote, hopeless, no, na maipasa compared to House Bill 4453 or yung bill for the ICAIC?
Sa tingin ko, ngayon ang perfect timing na maisabatas natin yun. At sa tulong ng sambayan ng Pilipino, sana marinig ng lahat ng mababatas yung inyong sigaw. Kasi ramdam na ramdam ko yan na kailangan natin maipasa ang anti-political dynasty bill. I'm very proud to say na kami sa akbayan ang panukalang batas ay malawak dahil ang gusto namin hanggang first cousin o fourth degree of affinity or consanguinity ang pan pagdating sa political dynasty.
Well, nag-speech si House Speaker Boji D about that. Sabi niya, sang-ayon siya, despite the fact that he also belongs to a very established political dynasty. Have you followed up with him, spoken to him about it? Where are we at right now with regards to House Bill 5905?
Well, I understand that he also has his own version of the anti-political dynasty bill, where it hasn't been filed yet. We hope that that will be filed immediately. And this should be already subject of debate in the House. Para sa akin, yung long-term solution na nakikita natin sa pagkukulang sa pananagutan, yung sobrang grabe problema sa corruption, ay may sa batas na itong anti-political dynasty bill. Ito ay nasa ating konstitusyon at ilang 4 na dekada na yan, wala pa rin batas. It's about time we have a law on this.
Well, that's going to be a very interesting debate, sir. Doon mo makita yung linya kung sinong tatawid at sino yung manatili sa anong bagay ng bakod. Pero sir, when you take a step back and look at the numbers in the House, especially the numbers of how many % of them belong to political dynasties, are you hopeful, realistically hopeful, na may papasa ng Kongreso ito? And may endorse ng Malacanang?
Sa tingin ko, may sasabatas yan ng Kongreso dahil nagsalita na Mr. Speaker. Ang talagang magiging malaking issue pag umabot yan sa Senado. Mm-hmm. And sana hinihingi ko nga ang suporta ng lahat ng nanonood at nakikinig dahil pag umabot sa Senado ito, kailangan marinig nila yung sigaw ng bayan na isabatas na ang anti-political dynasty ko.
Tulad ng sabi nyo, no, this is the perfect time to pass it, meaning talagang timing is always very, very important in everything. Do you feel that we are losing momentum? Kumbaga, nagna-narrow na or nagsasara na yung window for us to pass this? Now na talagang galit yung mga taong bayan sa mga nagyayari.
Tuloy-tuloy pa rin ang galit ng sambayan ng Pilipinas. In fact, sa lahat ng mga pinupuntahan kong mga forums recently, halos araw-araw yan. Kung saan ako nagpupunta, ramdam na ramdam ko yung galit at panawagan ng lahat ng ordinaryong Pilipino. Lalong-lalo na yung kabataan. They want this law passed. And if our congressmen and women and our senators want to continue to sit as incumbents, they must heed the call of our people, especially our youth. Dahil pagdating sa susunod na halalan, pag hindi nila ginawa ito, malamang hindi na sila ipoboto.
Well, Congressman Egay Erizo, we spoke to him earlier this week and he had a suggestion. I felt his frustration. Ang sabi niya, gusto na raw niya mag-file in January sa Supreme Court para sila na lang daw mag-define kung ano yung political dynasty and for them to write out the enabling law. Hindi po kami abogado dito, but how possible is that? Because lawmaking is, of course, should be in the legislature, not in the judiciary. Is that possible?
Medyo long shot yan dahil ang talagang may kapangyarihan na magpasa ng batas sa political dynasty ang ating Kongreso. Alam ko may naka-pending na kaso sa Supreme Court to compel Congress to pass the law. But nonetheless, the discretion as to what that law will be, kung anong ilalaman doon, ay kahit na iutos ng Supreme Court yan, nasa Kongreso pa rin. Kaya ang tutok dapat natin sa lahat ng mga mambabatas ng House at Senado.
Sir, balik lang kay Babe Singson. We talked to him a while ago sa programang Storycon. At well, something interesting came up. Ang kwento po kasi niya, mga 2 or 3 weeks ago, pa niya binigay sa Malacanang ang kanyang resignation letter. And in all that time, between the time he submitted that resignation letter until now, nobody in Malacanang has reached out to him. Ni walang feedback. If at all daw, meron lamang nagparamdam through an emissary na baka pwedeng i-extend hanggang end of the month yung effectivity ng resignation. Which a lot of us find a little bit curious and strange. But if I ask you po, what do you think, what kind of a message does that send to the ICI and to all the requests and the concerns being made by Babe Singson?
Nakakapagtaka yun. Kasi kung talagang nakita natin mismo sa SONA, binanggit ni Pangulong BBM itong issue ito. At I suggest that the media focus their attention on Malacanang and ask not just the spokesperson but the President himself kung bakit ganon. I agree with you. It is very strange and it's not something that is consistent with their public claims that they are serious about getting to the bottom of the issues of corruption in the flood control and other projects.
Actually, I wanted to ask Babe Singson about that kanina kasi yun lang, we ran out of time. I wanted to ask him, given that, how serious do you think Malacanang is in, number one, empowering talaga an independent commission on infrastructure, and number two, seeing this to the end? Let me throw that question lang to you, since kayo po yung kausap namin ngayon. What do you think this signals? How serious is Malacanang as far as this investigation is concerned by the ICI?
Tingin ko, Ed, ang laki nang nawala ng kredibilidad itong ICI sa pagka-resign ni Secretary Singson. Kung hindi gumalaw ang Malacanang, kung hindi nila i-certify as urgent yung aming mga bill, at maghanap ng credible replacement kay Secretary Singson, ang madaling conclusion ng sambayan ng Pilipino ay lokohan na lang ito. And I wouldn't blame people who come to that conclusion because government, the administration must show and prove to the people that they are very serious about making sure that there is accountability.
Ang pagkakasabi nga raw ni Babe Singson kay Edgar Erice is para silang ginagawang washing machine. I suppose by that he means deodorizer.
Janitor.
Okay, maraming salamat po. Akbayan Party List Congressman Chel Diokno. Thank you, sir.
And when you have to excise a cancer out of such a complicated system, you need to do some very major surgery. And to do that, and when you do that, you will bleed. And that is what we had to go through. We had to go through that. And I'm sorry that the people suffered because of it, but it had to be done. Otherwise, we would do things the same way that we have always done, that the things that we have discovered that have been being done for the last 3 decades will just continue.
Despite public criticism, the president expresses confidence in the administration's recovery plan following the scandal. Marcos hopes that after investigations conclude and accountability is enforced, the public will see that the difficult reforms were worth it.
So it's not as if we are lost and we do not know what we are going to do. We know what we are going to do. We know what we are doing. And we will continue this campaign against corruption. But we are Filipinos. We may be bleeding now, but we will also heal very, very quickly.
In other news, the Office of the Solicitor General returns as lawyer for the government to defend the arrest of former President Rodrigo Duterte before the Supreme Court. The High Tribunal allowed the re-entry of the OSG as state representative in the habeas corpus petitions filed by Duterte's children. The Dutertes are questioning the decision to surrender their patriarch to the International Criminal Court or ICC. Then Solgen Menardo Guevara opted out from the case, reiterating his stance that the ICC no longer holds jurisdiction when the Philippines withdrew from the court in 2019. Guevara served as Justice Secretary during the Duterte administration. His successor, Solicitor General Darlene Berberabe, said that the re-entry just shows that she is performing her function.
Tinutupad din lamang po ng OSG ngayon yung mandato talaga na siya ang maging representative or siya ang maging counsel ng executive branch.
But former presidential spokesman Salvador Panelo, who represents Duterte in this petition, is criticizing the OSG re-entering the case.
Sa tingin ko kasi, dalawa lang yan eh. Either nasa likod ng Malacanang yung pagbaliktad ng Solgen or nagsisip-sip ang Solgen. Ang trabaho ng Solgen to represent the interests of the people, not of the administration or the ones holding power.
And let's discuss this with Solicitor General Darlene Berberabe, who joins us over the phone. Magandang gabi po, Solgen Berberabe, and thank you for joining us tonight.
Good evening, Ed and Sean.
Good evening po, ma'am. Ako ulit. We were talking to her last night lang on sa totoo lang. Ma'am, well, let me start off with something very basic. In signaling that it is coming on again as the lawyer of the government in this particular case, is Solgen also signifying to the public and to the Supreme Court that yes, we are back in the jurisdiction of the ICC, or not necessarily?
Wala pa po kami doon, so kami po ay nag-enter ng appearance dahil ito talaga ang mandato ng OSG. So in fact, yun pong dating pag-recuse, yun ang inihingi ng paalam sa Supreme Court kasi yun ay hindi normal na gawa, kaya yun ang inihingi ng permiso.
Pero ma'am, when you say wala pa kayo doon, what exactly do you mean by that? Does that mean that you're headed there?
Opo. Kaya po wala pa kami doon sapagkat nung nag-enter kami ng appearance, wala pa pong, sumasagot lamang kami, nagbigay kami ng comment dun sa manifestation na sinubmit ni Senator Bato.
Opo.
So, in fact, procedural lang po ang aming kinomentan. Wala po namang order sa amin ang Supreme Court na magbigay ng komentaryo doon sa main petition na i-file ni former PRRD at saka Senator Bato, yung certiorari and prohibition. So, kaya wala pa po akong masabi na tungkol doon sa merits ng pagkakaroon ng ICC jurisdiction or not. Pero Mabanggit ko lang po, nung mga time na ang OSG ay nag-file ng submission sa ICC na walang jurisdiction ng ICC simula po noong 2018, 2019, and then eventually po, nagbigay naman ng desisyon ang ICC at sinabi niya na hindi natin pinapanigan yung posisyon ng Pilipinas kung kaya't nagsabi siya na merong jurisdiction at kaya nga tumutuloy-tuloy yung kaso.
Okay, so sa ngayon kasi parang what are you seeing, Soljen, no, with regard to the case of former President Duterte? Kumbaga, moot na ba ito? But then again, there is that possible pending warrant against Senator Bato de la Rosa, in which case parang mas magiging relevant or current yung role ninyo. Have you started thinking of a strategy or options for that?
Opo. So, kailangan din po naming makausap ang nire-represent dito, ang aming kliyente dito sa kasong ito. So, this was filed against the Secretary of Justice at saka Executive Secretary, then Executive Secretary Bersamin. Kasi kami ay, yung mga previous pronouncements kasi na nag-aaral ng kung ano ang gagawin kung sakaling magkakaroon ng ICC warrant of arrest for Senator Bato. Na kung yung tinatanong niyo po na moot ba, ano po kasi yung petition na ifinalo nila petition for certiorari. Yung certiorari po, ang ibig sabihin nun, may ginawa ang gobyerno na sa tingin nila ay may grave abuse of discretion. So hindi siya moot, kumbaga lahat po tayo nag-iintay kung tama ba ang magiging ruling ba ng Supreme Court ay nagkaroon ng grave abuse of discretion itong mga respondents dito para magkaroon na rin po tayo ng once and for all guidance kung in future cases ay di magkakaroon ng mga parameters kung sakaling nagkaroon ng grave abuse of discretion. Now kung hindi naman po, then that could also be an input to the actions of our executive branch.
Ma'am, I understand po what you mean when you say na nasa procedural aspect pa lang, wala pa tayo sa merits of the case. But on the other hand po, the fact that nung Marso nag-recuse at ngayon po nag-enter ng reappearance ang Soljen, doesn't that in effect put you in a very awkward position or awkward spot? Actually, it doesn't put you in a bind or a very vulnerable position kasi it would, of course, look like nagbago isip ng gobyerno.
Opo. Ay hindi po ito nga ngayon lang mangyayari. Meron pong mga cases before for good reasons, for compelling reasons, na nagkakaroon po ng pagpapalit ang posisyon. So, may tinatawag po tayong role kasi ng OS ng Soljen na Tribune of the People.
Apo.
So minsan po, nasa Court of Appeals, merong conviction, tapos pagdating sa Supreme Court, biglang magti-Tribune of the People at sasabihin niya na hindi pala, acquittal. So, kaya po ito, malaking bagay din, nagsalita ang Supreme Court ngayong araw lamang na ito, pinapayagan niya. Walang ka-issue-issue na ginagrant niya na mag-re-enter ng appearance. So, hindi po ito parang ngayon lamang mangyayari. Gawa na rin po ng unique role of the Soljen as the Tribune of the People. So, even under po nung administration ni former President Duterte, meron din po noong mga kaso na nagkaroon ng reversal ang OSG.
Soljen, I just wanted to get your thoughts on that supposed warrant na may digital copy sa phone po ni Ombudsman Boying Remulla because na-deny na po ng Supreme Court na ipakita niya itong document na ito supposedly. The only one who has backed up Ombudsman Remulla is his brother, the Interior Secretary John Vic Remulla. Do you think it's fair that he has been saying na may ganito, but for all we know, it could or could not exist?
Baka po mas maigi na si Ombudsman ang inyong tanungin po. Ayaw na po ng Soljen na makihalo pa doon sa mga hindi naman namin sakop na trabaho.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, I also understand your point of view there. But at the same time, also that question din po na parang, when exactly do TROs kick in? Or when do you ask for a TRO? In this particular case, humihingi ng TRO yung panig ni De La Rosa, ni Senator De La Rosa, para sa isang bagay na hindi tayo sigurado na nandun nga. Is that even possible? When do you have a TRO? When do you ask for a TRO to begin with?
Kailangan po merong clear and unmistakable right. Kailangan po merong material and substantial invasion of right. Kailangan po may urgent need na for that remedy para mapigilan ang irreparable injury. At kumbaga, hindi po napatunayan kasi pagka humihingi po ng TRO, in fact, may nauna na pong TRO dati na hiningi dun sa main petition at yun po ay na-deny na. Kaya isa rin po sa aming sinasagot, in fact, sa aming comment, manifestation po kasi yung final niya pero may hinihingi namang mga reliefs. Isa na nga po itong TRO. Pero pag hihingi po kayo ng TRO, kailangan talagang merong maliwanag na karapatan na ito ay magkakaroon ng invasion o madadamage yung kanyang karapatan. Yun po ay hindi napatunayan. Kaya ang sabi namin ay walang pong basihan itong paghingi ng TRO.
Ayun, pero yun nga po kasi, Soljen, no, what happened with the former president, of course, they were rushing, di ba? Everything happened within one night, one afternoon and one night. Humingi ng TRO, pero parang it was a bit too late. Kumbaga, wala namang sumagot, sarado na yung opisina. So, ano po yung parang remedyo na pwedeng magyari? Because mahirap din naman umasa na, someone's going to file a reply or someone's going to receive that filing for the TRO.
Opo. Sigurado po ako na may mga solusyon naman din ang mga abogado po ni Senator Bato. Ang akin po ay pag pinakinggan nyo ang mga sinasabi ni Ombudsman Remulla, ng DOJ, sinasabi po na in fact pinag-iisipan kung ano yung mga possible approaches. So lahat po ay speculative pa po kasi ngayon puro hypothetical pag ganito nangyari. Ito yung pinag-iisipan po nila yung mga approaches. So hindi po malinaw. Kaya gusto ko pong gusto ko pong mag-limit lamang dito sa aming sinasagot sa inihayin. Kung ano po yung mga iba pa niyang options, tingin ko po na iniisip na po yon ng mga abogado ni Senator Bato. Hindi na po siguro para sa akin na magbigay ng payo kung ano po ang kanilang dapat gawin.
Ma'am, ako last na lang po, pasingit lang po. Kasi we're not lawyers here. We're not learned in the arts of the law. Pero po, yung sinampa po na petisyon not ni Bato, dun sa ng mga anak ni dating Pangulong Duterte, I think it was a habeas corpus petition. It was filed with Supreme Court. Pero I was also wondering exactly what can they get out of that, considering that the former president is not even in the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court now or the Philippine government right now. He is basically abroad under somebody else's jurisdiction in somebody else's jail. So under the law or under international law or domestic law, where does that stand?
Okay. So yun pong mga habeas corpus, in fact, marami na pong kaso yun na puro ICC related, tapos na-consolidate na rin po. So hindi lamang po yun yung na ang relief ay yung pagpo-produce sa kay former president na maibalik siya dito. Kung hindi, ang mga tinatanong din po doon ay yung legality ng mga ginawa na executive branch. So may merit pa rin po na sana kung maglabas ang Supreme Court ng decision kung alin ba yung tama, alin ba yung maling ginawa, akma ba doon sa ating domestic law, international law na accepted din dito sa jurisdiction natin. So, maigi pa rin po na mag-antay tayong lahat ng decision ng Supreme Court about it.
So in short, kumbaga, this will only serve as guidance for future cases of similar nature. So we'll know what to do next time. Ganun.
Opo. At saka, siyempre, tayo naman po mga nasa government, hindi naman, kumbaga, lalo na yung mga nasa executive branch, pagka po may mga batas, ating ini-implement in accordance with how we understand the law. Hindi naman kasi dapat ang law ay napaka-komplikado or hindi naman dapat abogado ka para maintindihan mo. In fact, that's unfair pagka ganun po ang ating pansin sa law. Dapat, pagka binasa mo, alam mo kung paano siya implement. Now, nagkakaroon lang po ng paghihintay sa Supreme Court kapag ka po may nagfa-file na ng kaso na nagiging issue siya. Pero it doesn't stop naman the public officials in the executive branch or in any other branch to continue in the performance of their work based on their interpretation of the law.
So we might be waiting for a decision on whether something was right or wrong or legal or not, but not necessarily be getting any relief as far as that is concerned because of the jurisdictional issues. Tama ho ba?
Yung relief po, specific relief na yung pag-produce kay former PRRD. Opo.
Okay. Maraming salamat for your insights, Solicitor General Darlene Berberabe. Thank you po, and good night.
All right, this is the big story on One News. Still to come, Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC, has revoked the registration of two construction firms owned by the so-called king and queen of contractors, Curly and Sara Discaya. The details still ahead. Stay with us. Very own Gretchen Ho with the ultimate heartthrob, Piolo Pascual. Both of them are attending the Asian Academy Creative Awards ceremony in Singapore tonight, December 4. Gretchen, the host of Morning Matters, is the AACA's national winner for Best Factual Presenter, while Piolo Pascual is recognized as national winner for Best Supporting Actor for MQuest's 2024 film, The Kingdom. Congratulations to all of our kapatids. Wow. Congratulations to Gretchen.
Congratulations.
And Piolo Pascual. Nainggit ako. Gusto ko
Naisingit
rin
ka
ang
sa Piolo
picture.
Pascual.
Well, no, The Kingdom kasi was our movie last year. Diba? And it
Yeah.
won a lot of awards. But to everyone, thank you so much for watching The Big Story on this Thursday. We are back here tomorrow, Friday at 7:30 p.m. See you then.
Kapatid, we are one news, all sides, all the time. Good night.
Well, stay tuned because we still have a lot coming up in the world of sports. We have play-by-play up next with Andre Felix and Cheskaliton Calao. Hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Thursday.
Happy Thursday. Isang araw
Happy
na lang.
Thursday.
Weekend na.
Ay, dami nangyayari on a Thursday.
Tatlong araw na lang, Lunes ulit.
Parang Monday pa lang, ang dami na nangyari.
Ganda na sinabi ni Buka, isang araw na lang, Biyernes na. 3 araw na lang, Lunes ulit.
At December na talaga, sobrang traffic.
Ramdam mo na yung traffic.
On the road.
Christmas rush sa malls. So talagang you have to do your Christmas shopping already dahil habang maaga pa, dahil it just will keep on getting busier and busier. But thank you, Big Story. Thank you to Boked, and thank you, Sean. Happy Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow to end the work week. On our show tonight, we've got scores for you and controversies in the NBA, plus rosters for Gilas Pilipinas and Alas Pilipinas for the Southeast Asian Games.
And we've also got players signing fresh deals in the PBA and PVL.
I'm Andre Felix.
And I'm Cheskaliton Calao.
And here's tonight's play-by-play.